Today I'm back inside of Diablo Immortal with a Necromancer build for all of us here today. I haven't been the Necromancer for a while, and this is a brand new summons build, unlike any summons build you've seen before, coming out of the Revenant's Discord server, which I will be linking down below. As you can see, we have Wraith Form, we have Command Golem, we have the Command Skeletons, and we have the Mage being used as the primary skills for this build. This build really features some solid movement, which is something that's fantastic, being that the Necromancer isn't typically known as a class that has good movement. It's actually known as one of the slower classes inside of Diablo Immortal. But this build here changes that, not only making it faster, but having great summons that deal a ton of damage as well. We're going to get into all of that inside of this video as we look at all of the gear used to enhance with their essences, including the secondary gear, which we are going to start with right here. And as you can see, starting out, we're going with the Ishtar at Rest. So it's essentially the Ishtar imbued properties. And this is a 4-piece set being used right here. Each time you defeat an enemy, you gain 30% increased movement speed for 3 seconds. In addition to that, the second unlocked, because this is a 4-piece set, damage dealt increased by 2.5% for every 5% increase in your movement speed, up to a maximum damage increase of 25%. So we're getting movement and we're getting damage being done by that 4-piece set. Then we're going with a 2-piece set here of Wind Loft Perfection. Gain 1,000 winds when in combat, increasing your movement speed by 15%. 1,000 winds deactivates for 2 seconds if you take damage. So I love that these essences right here are actually giving a buff to the speed and the damage, changing the Necromancer into a much faster class than we all know traditionally from the Necromancer. We look at the Barbarian is the fastest, the Necromancer is one of the slowest, so this here changes all of that. Now, we're starting off with the headpiece when we're looking at our legendary gear. Keep in mind, this is a player who's reached Paragon 800, where you unlock stances, enabling you to be able to have 2 extra pieces of gear, your extra primary and your extra secondary. If you're just using a 6-piece, you get to choose how you want to build this out from what you see here. All right, so the first headpiece is Visitant's Sign, and Command Golem duration is increased by 39%. I always have absolutely loved the Command Golem. And here, you're going to have the Command Golem up longer because of that headpiece. Now we're going with Synod's Anointing. Skeletal Mage maximum charges are increased by 1. The cooldown is reduced by 3.6%. Now, this is another spawn that we haven't seen in previous builds that I featured on the channel. Often I was going away from the Skeletal Mage and up with other skills instead. But here, Skeletal Mage is a feature, and being able to drop an extra one down, you're going to have 2 mages down, possibly even more at a time, just dropping damage over time. But a lot of this has to do with Wraith Form, and we're going to see that in a moment. This is the primary weapon, Desolatoria. Command Golem is going to turn into a Molten Golem. So your Golem is no longer going to stun, and it's no longer going to have enemies attack it. Instead, it's going to be molten, so it's going to have that burn effect. So no stunning. Nothing is going to be forced to attack it, but it's going to put everything on fire, and decrease damage is increased by 18% on that as well, which is very nice. We're going to move on to our first primary stance piece of gear, and this here is the Revenant Wind. This is going to really be the first that changes how Wraith Form works. It now calls forth spirits to haunt up to 3 nearby enemies, dealing 5,000 plus damage over 3 seconds. While reducing the movement speed of your enemies by 30%, damage is increased by 90%, and then the cooldown is decreased because of the awakening by 10% as well. So here, this is a spawn damage type class, yet you're even getting spawn from your Wraith Form as well. And there's more, so let's keep on going with this as we go on up to the chest piece, which is going to give us even more for Wraith form. Wondrous Underworld. Wraith form now also conjures into 2 Wraiths in random directions. Wraith form cooldown is reduced by 3.6%. So there's more right there of things that you're throwing out into the world that enemies are going to have to deal with. Plus, you're getting the cooldown reduction right there as well, which is very nice. I want to let you guys know also that we started out this video with some footage of an Elder Rift. I am going to show you more footage of combat as we get through the build at the end of this video. And by the way, Evil Dead from the Revenants server and the Revenants clan is the creator, the user, the person that supplied this build for me here today. So thank you so much, Evil Dead. All right, we're looking at Banshee right now from the Proximal Fear piece of Pants. Wraith form now causes enemies to touch, to flee in fear, and it damages them. So more damage, plus they flee, get out of your way. Wraith form damage is increased by 18%. And then again, it's increased by 10% because of the awakening. I like this because when you think about a Necromancer, Necromancer is not a strong build. It's like a glass cannon. So here, being able to utilize this keeps the enemies away. It's not going to have them hurting you. It's not going to have them damaging you because they're running away, and then all of your spawn can deal with them in that molten golem, which is literally burning everything in the world. Let's keep on going from the legs to the secondary piece of gear right here. Command golem damage is increased by 19%. Very simple, very effective. Beacon of the Lead is the secondary weapon. And the final stanced secondary weapon we are looking at right here. Dead Keen. Command Golem now also deals 14.5% additional damage to enemies for each harmful effect they suffer from, up to a maximum of 58%. So we're seeing more damage from the Golem. 3 essences for the Golem, 3 for Wrath form, and then we had a few others for the other skills that are being used right here as well. Nothing actually for command skeletons. But I mean, and when you look at the gems that he's using, not that the gems are something that we really need to worry about. I mean, I guess we could, but at the same time, we all have different abilities here. Look, he's utilizing the Echoing Shade, which is going to have more Necromancers. I mean, you could see the Seeping Bile is another one right there that is just poison damage for everything. More damage from the BSJ, the Blood-Soaked Jade. The Frozen Heart, I believe it's called. Bottled Hope you have over here. There's just a lot of gems that may not be attainable for all players, but they also may be. That's up to you and how you want to build that out. But I did mention that we have a little bit more footage over here, so let's dive into and see what this actually looks like as he goes around the world taking down some of the enemies. Look how it's really very much a speed build. You see that mage just dropping so much damage, command golem being dropped in, burning everything in its range, plus it's going and attacking enemies as well with that burn. No corpse explosion being used. Man, I'll tell you what, watching this makes me miss utilizing this class. But damage is being done quickly, and this is while he was at 872 Paragon. He got me this footage probably a little less than a week ago from where this is being posted, and that'll kind of tell you where he was. I think the server Paragon was probably 860 when this footage was sent over to me, so he was clearly above the proper level. But it's nice to see a Necromancer moving quickly. I love how that actually works, because for me, I have no patience for a slow class. I need to move fast, which is why with my Barbarian, I am continuously moving inside of the game. But you can see how the build is being used, how the skills are being used, and how the movement really works, which is really the feature of this build. It's essentially a summons build with a beastly command golem and a lot of speed being gained from your Necro. Hope this build helped you out, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and let me know after you build out your Necro, as shown in the video, what you think of it, if you like it, or if you have something that's even better. You could always hit me up on Discord and share with me your builds. Appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video.